Rain stood quietly in the corner of the Galactic Military Academy transport ship. His back was straight, his uniform clean, but no one seemed to care. Around him, alien cadets from across the galaxy talked, laughed, and compared battle records. No one included the human. They didn't even ask his name. To them, he was just a human, weak, emotional, short-lived, and soft, not worth their time. One of the taller alien cadets, a red-scaled warrior named Threx, glanced at Rain and smirked. "I heard Earth sends their best to this academy. If he's the best, then Earth must be a joke." A few others laughed. Rain didn't say anything. He had heard worse. He kept his hands at his sides and his eyes forward. He wasn't here to make friends. He was here for a reason. When the ship landed and the doors opened, the cadets were led into the academy's main hall. It was massive. Walls of silver metal, glowing banners from different star systems, and floating drones recording everything. Rain walked silently at the back of the group. As the academy commander spoke, explaining the rules, the cadets stood in rows. Rain stood alone at the end of his line. No one wanted to stand near him. The training started the next day. Physical tests, weapon drills, simulations, and classroom lectures. The aliens were strong, fast, and loud. They ran faster than Rain. They lifted heavier weights. They boasted about how many enemies they had fought back home. Rain didn't boast. He didn't even explain his background. When asked, he just said, "Earth trains differently." In one class, the instructor played battle footage from past galactic wars. The alien cadets cheered when their own species appeared on screen. But when Earth soldiers showed up, fighting in dirty uniforms, using strange tactics and wild moves, the room fell quiet. "Why are they crawling through mud?" one cadet asked. "That's not how you fight." Another laughed. "Look at them. They use bullets. That's ancient tech." Rain didn't react. He had seen those videos before. They were real clips from Earth's wars. Battles where the only rule was survival. No fancy tech. No energy shields. Just grit, pain, and fury. The aliens didn't understand it. Not yet. Later that week, the first teamwork test was assigned. Small squads were formed randomly. Rain was placed with 3 alien cadets, none of whom were happy about it. "Just stay out of our way," said Juruk, a 4-armed insectoid. "You'll only slow us down." Rain nodded once. He didn't argue. The test was simple. Reach the goal through a combat maze. The enemies were drones, fast, armed, and programmed to simulate real attackers. The squad moved quickly, the aliens rushing ahead, firing their plasma rifles. Rain moved differently. He stayed low, scanning corners, listening to sounds the others ignored. When one drone ambushed them from behind, it was Rain who shot it first. Clean. Precise. One shot. The others paused. "Lucky hit," one muttered. But then it happened again. Then a third time. Rain wasn't the fastest or strongest, but he always knew where the enemy would come from. He set traps. He used shadows. He used silence like a weapon. At the end of the maze, the squad finished with the highest score that day. The instructors took note. So did the other cadets. For the first time, they looked at Rain with something different: confusion, maybe even curiosity. In the cafeteria that evening, Rain sat alone again. But now, the whispering had started. Some cadets glanced at him. A few were replaying the training footage. One instructor even paused by his table before walking off without a word. Rain didn't mind. This was always how it began. First they laughed. Then they watched. Then they realized too late what they were dealing with. Back in his quarters, Rain opened a small metal box. Inside was a simple patch, black, with Earth's symbol on it. He touched it for a moment, then set it down and looked out the window at the stars. They didn't respect him. That was fine. They didn't need to. They would learn soon enough. Earth had sent him here not to prove strength, but to remind the galaxy of something it had forgotten. Humans may look small. They may seem slow. But when the time comes, they fight like nothing else in the stars. And Rain, he wasn't even Earth's best. He was just the warning. Rain stood silently in the training hall, watching the alien cadets prepare for their first combat simulation. Everyone expected him to fail. After all, he was just a human, slow, weak, and untrained like they believed. The aliens chatted loudly, laughing and making fun of him. "He'll be out in seconds," said a tall, blue-skinned fighter named Krell. "Why bother wasting time on a human?" The simulation began with a loud alarm. The cadets entered a large arena filled with obstacles, hiding spots, and enemy drones. The goal was simple: survive and eliminate the drones before time ran out. The alien cadets moved quickly and confidently, shooting with their advanced weapons, jumping over walls, and using powerful energy shields. Rain stayed back at first, watching carefully. He didn't rush like the others. The aliens were surprised. They thought Rain was weak, but he was quiet and steady. He watched the drones closely, noticed their patterns, and waited for the right moment. Suddenly, Rain moved fast, faster than anyone expected. Using clever tactics he had learned on Earth, he dodged between cover, set traps, and struck with precision. One by one, the drones fell. The other cadets stopped and stared. Rain wasn't just surviving, he was winning. He didn't rely on speed or power. Instead, he used his mind, patience, and skill. After just a few minutes, Rain had taken down more drones than anyone else. The instructors were shocked. They called the simulation to stop early. Whispers spread across the room. How did he do that? What is he using? He's not like any human we've seen. Rain didn't celebrate. He simply walked out, calm and focused. The aliens looked at him differently now. Some were curious. Others were nervous. The mockery faded for a moment, replaced by respect mixed with fear. That night, in the dormitory, Rain sat alone, cleaning his equipment. One cadet, a young alien named Scylla, approached quietly. "How do you fight like that?" she asked. Rain smiled a little and said, "On Earth, we don't have the best weapons or strength. We learn to fight smart, to survive any way we can." Scylla nodded, impressed but still cautious. Maybe humans are stronger than we thought. Rain knew the hard part was just beginning. The aliens had started to notice, and the challenges would only get tougher. But he was ready, because Earth had taught him one thing above all: never give up, no matter what anyone says. The real test was coming soon, and Rain would be ready to surprise everyone again. Rain's quiet strength began to puzzle many at the academy. The alien cadets who once ignored him now whispered in corners, wondering how a human could be so skilled without the fancy weapons or power they all had. Some wanted to learn his secret, but Rain kept his past mostly to himself. He knew Earth's way of training was different, and they wouldn't understand it easily. One afternoon, the instructor called the class together for a special lesson. The room filled with images and videos showing Earth's wars. Harsh battles fought on dusty, broken lands with old-fashioned weapons. The alien cadets looked confused. They saw humans crawling through mud, hiding in ruins, fighting with bullets and steel when most species used energy shields and plasma guns. "How do they fight like that?" one cadet asked, shaking his head. "They look so weak." Rain stood quietly, but inside, he felt a flicker of pride. Earth's soldiers learned to survive in the hardest conditions. No fancy tech, no support fleets, just pure will and tough training. They studied pain, fear, and how to turn those feelings into strength. They trained their minds and bodies to keep going, even when everything seemed lost. After the lesson, some cadets came to Rain. "Tell us more about Earth training," one said. "How did you learn to move like that? How did you know where the drones would come from?" Rain smiled softly. "Earth fights dirty. We learn to think like the enemy, to use shadows, silence, and surprise. We don't need the best weapons if we use our brains. But not everyone was happy. A few cadets looked angry and whispered about unfair tactics. Humans don't fight like real soldiers, one said. They cheat. Rain didn't argue. He knew that Earth's way was different, and in the galaxy, different meant dangerous. The more he showed his skills, the more the other cadets realized humans were not easy to beat. They started to watch him more closely, trying to learn, but also planning how to stop him. Rain understood this was just the beginning. Earth's dark history was a warning to many. They thought humans were weak, but humans had learned to survive when all seemed lost. Now, Rain would use that hard-earned knowledge to prove that Earth was more than just a forgotten planet. The question was, would the aliens accept this new truth before it was too late? The day of the public duel arrived, and the entire academy buzzed with excitement. News had spread quickly. An elite alien cadet named Vark had challenged Rain to a one-on-one fight. Everyone expected an easy victory for Vark, a fierce warrior known for his speed and strength. The aliens gathered in the grand arena, eager to watch the human finally fall. Rain stood calmly in the center, his eyes steady and focused. The crowd shouted and cheered for Vark, many openly mocking Rain. "This will be quick," someone said loudly. "Watch the human get crushed." The duel began with a blast of light, and Vark charged forward, muscles rippling, energy blades glowing. He moved fast, striking with power and skill. Rain didn't rush. He watched carefully, waiting for the right moment. When Vark swung his blade, Rain dodged smoothly and countered with a precise strike from his own weapon. Simple, but deadly. The crowd gasped. Vark stumbled but recovered quickly, attacking again with fury. Rain stayed calm, using his Earth training, dodging, blocking, and using the arena's shadows to hide. The fight was unlike anything the cadets had seen. Rain didn't try to match Vark's strength. Instead, he used clever moves, timing, and patience. Then, suddenly, Rain made his move. In a blur, he disarmed Vark and knocked him to the ground. The arena fell silent. No one expected the human to win, let alone so quickly and decisively. Vark lay there, breathing hard, eyes wide with shock and respect. Rain didn't smile or boast. He simply turned and walked away, leaving the crowd stunned. After the duel, the whispers grew louder. "The human is not weak," some admitted. "He is dangerous." Even the instructors began to rethink what they believed about humans. Rain had changed their view in a single fight, but not everyone was happy. Some alien cadets started to plot, worried that a human might change the academy forever. Rain knew the battle was far from over. Winning the duel was just the start. The galaxy was watching now, and Earth's true strength was waiting to be revealed. The Galactic Council began to take a closer look at Earth. Many leaders had ignored the small blue planet for years, thinking it was weak and unimportant. But after Rain's surprising victories, questions arose. Who were these humans? What was their true history? What made them so strong? A group of scholars and commanders gathered to study Earth's past. They found stories of terrible wars, battles that lasted decades, fought with old weapons and no fancy technology. They read about how humans had survived massive disasters, famines, and enemies who wanted to wipe them out. The humans were tough. They had faced monsters and darkness, and still kept fighting. One professor whispered during a meeting, "They learned war from monsters, and then they became something worse." This meant humans had not only survived, but had grown stronger by using the darkest parts of war, the pain, fear, and cruelty, and turned them into power. Some aliens were scared. They thought humans were too dangerous, too unpredictable. Others wanted to learn from Earth's ways. They wanted to understand how to fight like humans and survive any battle. But there were also those who wanted Rain gone. They saw him as a threat to the old order. "He breaks the rules," they said. "He is not like us. We cannot trust him." Rain heard about these plans, but did not worry. He knew Earth's history made humans different. They had learned to be strong not just with weapons, but with their minds and hearts. And that was something the galaxy had forgotten. The real test was coming. The galaxy would either accept humans or try to destroy them. But Rain was ready to face whatever came next. Earth's past was dark, but its future was bright and full of surprises. The mission seemed simple at first, just a routine training exercise outside the academy. Rain and a small group of cadets were sent to a nearby asteroid field to practice combat skills. But Rain felt something was wrong. The air was too quiet. The stars seemed colder. As they moved through the rocks, a sudden attack came from nowhere. Laser blasts cut through the darkness. The group was caught in an ambush. Rain's instincts kicked in fast. He dodged, blocked, and fought back, but it was clear someone had planned this carefully. The attackers weren't enemies. They were fellow cadets. Aliens who wanted Rain out of the academy for good. They hoped to kill him quietly, away from the eyes of the instructors. Rain was hurt, badly. But he didn't give up. Even when bleeding and tired, he kept fighting. His training on Earth had taught him to survive when all seemed lost. Using clever moves and unexpected traps, he turned the battle around. One by one, the attackers fell. After the fight, the academy was silent. No one expected Rain to survive, and certainly not to win. Then a message came through, shocking everyone. Earth was watching. The message was short, just one word: noted. Moments later, a Terran ship appeared near the academy's edge, its lights shining bright. The galaxy held its breath. No one knew what Earth planned next, but they understood one thing clearly. Rain was not alone. The trap had failed. Instead of breaking the human, it had awakened the planet behind him. The galaxy would soon see what it meant when Earth stood up. The academy was tense. The leaders called for a full review of Rain's actions and the recent events. The alien cadets whispered nervously. Some hoped Rain would be punished or sent away. Others wondered what would happen next. Rain stood before the council, calm and confident. He told his story clearly, how he trained, how Earth prepared him for battles far harder than this academy's tests. He spoke of survival, of never giving up, and of the strength found in unity and hope. After long discussions, the council cleared Rain of all accusations. But this was only the beginning. The galaxy had changed. The fear and respect for humans grew. No longer were they seen as weak or simple. They were a force to reckon with. In the halls of the academy, things changed too. Cadets who once mocked Rain now watched him with new eyes. Some even approached him, seeking advice or friendship. Rain walked tall, not because he wanted to prove something, but because he knew Earth's truth was finally shining through. The galaxy had tried to banish Earth, to ignore its people. But Earth had already made its move, quietly, patiently, and with a strength that no one expected. No one respected the human before. Now, the entire galaxy knew better. The human was not just a fighter, he was a warning. And the story of Earth was just beginning.